My top 5 best non-financial investments of the year. My heartfelt reflection with you. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Sugar Mama's Fireplay. I am your host, financial planner, Canna Campbell, and today, as we approach the end of another year, it's gone by so quickly, I want to take a moment to reflect with you. Whilst I often talk about financial literacy, and actually I always talk about financial literacy, and the importance of budgeting, having emergency money, having enough emergency money, investing wisely, paying attention to your superannuation, and of course the importance of personal insurance. Today's episode is a little bit different, but it's something just as valuable, and that is our non-financial investments. What I'm about to share with you are the things that I have invested in this year that have profoundly impacted my sense of happiness, personal growth, which is really important to me, and my inner well-being, even my connection. And these are the things that I share with you have helped me stay balanced as a busy working mum of 3 kids and 3 dogs, a partner, and as a normal everyday human being trying to juggle all the balls and navigate life's ups and downs. So grab a tea or a coffee or a glass of wine or whatever your choice of liquid is today and find a quiet spot. And let me share with you my top 5 best, most heartfelt, non-financial investments of 2024. Here we have music. All right, so number 1. This is something that kind of picks up from my episode that I did this time last year, which was obviously my best non-financial investments of 2023. And if you listen to this episode, I shared with you that I'd actually been working with a psychologist for about 11 years. And I talked about the investment of her and how she's helped me and how she actually was retiring at the end of 2023. And I was scared to sort of go onto the world without her on my own. Anyway, at the beginning of this year, I decided I wanted to remain committed to my personal growth and development, and I invested in a course called the Phoenix Course by a gentleman called Jamie Ryder. So this is a personal development program, journey you could call it, with Jamie Ryder, and it's designed to help you address and heal from trauma. It really goes deep and right to the heart. And let me tell you, it has been so powerful. And I'm even only 30% of the way through this course, which you'll hear about in a second why. Now, as I said, I haven't finished this course yet, and that is because there is so much deep work to be done with this. And the tools and the insights I have gained so far have been so much. I feel like my plate's already loaded with so much. I'm just trying to work through it all. So it's kind of slowed me down going through this course, but I think that's actually a credit to how amazing this program is and how talented Jamie Ryder really is as a coach. And I have gained incredible insights so far. For example, I can see the blessings in disguise. And most importantly, I can see this work that I'm doing on myself as an opportunity to break patterns, which is something I am incredibly grateful for. So I'm learning so much about this. And I will definitely say that when challenges happen, I'm able to handle them with far greater compassion and resilience. My reaction is very different. My reaction is so much more calm, so much more methodical, and I explore what's going on behind the scenes and what's really behind that particular event. And I will say, since doing this program, I have slowly and even at times felt incredibly uncomfortable, but I know that this is worth all the work. But unpacking all of those emotional blocks that I didn't even realize I was carrying for so long. At the same time, also learning how to nurture myself within. So this has been amazing, and I'm so excited about working on this course and continuing to go right through to the very end. So the reason why I share with you, this, I guess, insight or this story about what I've been doing is to remind you that investing in your mental and emotional health is one of the most rewarding things that you can do for yourself. And for me, doing this course is a reminder that we're all just works in progress, trying to be our best, do our best, and work with what we've got. And that is perfectly fine. Okay, sorry if that was a little bit deep, but I really wanted to share this with you, and I feel like a lot of people who are listening to this may be interested in obviously hearing more about Jamie Ryder's course. So I'm actually going to go and link in the podcast notes for you Jamie Ryder's TikTok account, because there is an amazing amount of free resources just on his TikTok page. All right, next, colour analysis for fashion and makeup. So I'm going from one extreme to the other. Deep work on emotional trauma versus, looking pretty and beautiful and stylish. So as you may know, earlier this year, I was invited to have a colour analysis session done. And this was primarily based around fashion. And I had one done when I was in, I think, my mid-20s or late 20s. And it was good, it was interesting, but I didn't feel entirely confident in the advice I was given. So when I was invited to have this done again, I was really interested, and obviously I jumped at this incredibly gracious and generous opportunity. Now, when I did this, I didn't actually expect how much better it would be this time around. And I think a lot of the colour analysis has gone deeper and wider, and you get a lot more information today as you may have done maybe 10, 15 years ago. So this was transformative, as I've explained before. And I discovered new colours that really complement my natural skin tones that I would never have thought about or considered before. And I didn't just learn about colours, I learned about textures and about tones, and also about how they mix in with my lifestyle and my personality even. And doing this colour analysis that was based around fashion gave me a huge amount of confidence to actually go forth and experiment with things I would never want to do before, because I'd see it as being dangerous and potentially a waste of money. And I'd always, play it safe with just a t-shirt and jeans and some sneakers. But in learning about other hues and tones and shades and textures, I'm actually really enjoyed unleashing this creative element within me and my wardrobe. And having that confidence has been really valuable. And especially when you realize things all this time that actually could have actually worked for you, that you felt kind of blocked off or restricted. And I have to say, on that topic of worried about wasting money, this investment of my time was actually great because it cut down wasteful spending. You see, since doing this, I no longer purchase clothes that aren't quite right, or I'm sort of sitting on the edge as to whether they'd work or not. And it has saved me also so much time, because when I'm shopping online or I'm shopping in a store, I instinctively know what to not even bother going and trying on or entertaining adding to my cart. So it's added a huge amount of efficiency when I do go shopping, as well as confidence and creativity. Now, after gaining so much from this particular consultation, and I'm obviously going to link all the details in the podcast notes for you, I was filled with even more curiosity. It almost set something off within me, where I wanted to learn more and go deeper with this and understand more about what I could potentially create, because I was having so much fun experimenting and creating and trying new things on. I was like, okay, well, where else can I apply this in my life? And so I happened to the stars were aligned, and I happened to end up in a conversation with a makeup artist who is actually also a colour consultant. After chatting with this lovely lady, and she was so insightful, gave me so many sort of free insights over a conversation on Instagram, I actually decided to go ahead and book in a session with her. And again, I will link her details in these podcast notes for you. But this was equally as valuable, as I learned about the sister palettes and how to safely expand my colour palette, and how to also elevate my overall natural appearance when experimenting with colours. And this lady by the name of Ashley spoke to me also about hair colour, about lipsticks, lip liners, and even what colours to put close to my makeup. And she even went as far as giving me a list of budget-friendly makeup for me to eventually add to my makeup kit with all the exact colour numbers and shades to really enhance my natural features, such as my eye colour, my skin tone, my natural lip colour, my hair colour. So it took my colour analysis insights and knowledge to a new level, and I felt this huge weight off my shoulders and almost like a permission to go and declutter, because there were so many makeup products, and this is a little bit embarrassing to admit, where I had bought them thinking, I saw that on that influencer, I saw that on my friend, I'll go and get it. And then when I got it home or it arrived in the mail and I tried it on. It wasn't quite right, but I felt so embarrassed and ashamed and guilty of wasting money like that. I just kept on holding on to all these colours and foundations and blushes that just weren't right for my skin, but I refused to let go of because I didn't want to admit to myself that I'd got it so wrong. In this fabulous, really fun process of, building up my makeup kit and building up almost like a capsule makeup kit, which is so incredibly satisfying. And I have to say, with these two colour analyses, they really do actually complement each other. I wouldn't actually necessarily recommend one or the other. I'd recommend both, one for fashion, one for makeup. But I do think Ashley does potentially fashion as well. However, you can have a chat with them separately. And I would say that whilst I'm almost finished putting together my capsule wardrobe, which has had a fantastic refresh now that I'm not having any more children, I'm now really enjoying actually playing with what I already own and getting creative and knowing where not to waste money and where to actually invest. And it just feels really authentic to me. I feel like I'm sort of coming into my own skin, finding myself again. And this has been something really beautiful for me, particularly as a working mum, where we can often put ourselves as mothers at the bottom of the list. So when I get dressed in the morning, it's a different process. It's so much more enjoyable. And I'm not someone who spends a lot of time getting dressed. I've got 3 kids and 3 dogs, so I need to get everyone out the door pretty quickly. But because I have this knowledge about myself and this insight, I'm able to quickly not only put together an outfit that feels good inside and out, but I can also put together a makeup look that looks nice, that looks natural, that looks pretty and enhances my features. And the moment I'm out the door, I do not give it a second thought. I do not worry about what I'm looking like during the day. I just get on with my day and seize it and work on that resilience that Jamie Ryder is teaching me. So what would I say I got from the return of this particular investment? Well, confidence, 100%. Creativity, absolutely. I'd say that's probably one of the best things I got. And also an element of simplicity, because I don't waste time anymore. I have that huge amount of efficiency. And I've this catharsism or decluttering or just completely like minimizing and going to the roots of really the beautiful products. I actually really enjoy the ritual of getting dressed in the morning. So it has been an absolutely wonderful process, and I highly recommend this as even a gift idea for someone that you love or think is very special. All right, number 3, and that is HelloFresh once a fortnight. As I mentioned, I have 3 children and 3 dogs, and my partner, Tom, spends a lot of time overseas working in Hong Kong. He's constantly back and forth. So for me, I'm juggling a lot on my own, and life is hectic. Just ask my neighbours. They'll often hear me yelling at my kids to hurry up and put their shoes on or brush their teeth or get in the car. And I am someone who's an early morning riser. I spring out of bed at 5 a.m. I get some work done in the morning. I have a cuddle with the dogs. I have a beautiful coffee at home. But because I get up so early, come sort of 7 o'clock at night, I am a walking zombie and I'm done for the day. And of course that coincides with witching hour, when my children and my dogs, everyone's, hungry. They need to get into the shower or the bath. They need to get into their pajamas and clean their teeth and all those, book routines that you'd need to do with 3 children, plus also get the dogs out as well for a quick walk before we close up the house and all go to sleep. So that particular time of the day is full on for me. And being someone with ADHD, I find screaming and noise excruciatingly painful. It's like absolutely torturous. And I also find at the same time clutter and mess really, really triggering. So for me, this is just a really hard time of the day, and I need more help at home, particularly at this time of the day. However, what I've been doing is getting HelloFresh once a fortnight, and it has been a game changer. Now, I will admit I've been using HelloFresh on and on for like 8 or 9 years. It's brilliant, but it was only recently that I realized, okay, you just get it. From now on, just get it once a fortnight, and we get a big box to feed 6 of us. I think we get for 4 or 5 nights. And the benefit and beauty of this is HelloFresh has actually introduced us to meals that I would have never had the energy or headspace to create and plan and actually physically cook without burning. But it's also encouraged us to eat way more vegetables, and a wider range of vegetables, might I add, as well as try new cuisines, which for me and my kids is really important because It's again a little bit embarrassing to admit this. I'm such a sucker for, fine, okay, just have some butter with pasta or pasta with butter. As long as you just eat your dinner and go to bed, with a full tummy, I'll be fine. So it has been really good for making sure I get some nutritious ingredients into my children and, of course, myself. And I will also add that my 11-year-old son, Rocco, actually helps me cook these meals because they are so easy to follow. And it's actually given him and I so much more confidence in the kitchen. I'm not a great cook, particularly late of the day because my ADHD medication is expired. I've sort of burnt it off, and that's when things start going spectacularly wrong in the kitchen. I burn things, I undercook things, I get the instructions wrong, but HelloFresh for me in my brain, because it's just all neatly organised and it's compartmentalised, Rocco and I can just sit there and actually get it done together. And it's become a really beautiful ritual between him and I in the cooking process, but also then when we sit down together as a family. And I'm not, fighting with my children to eat their meals because the meal is actually delicious and it's something new. And my kids are actually eating everything on their plate and going to bed with not just a full tummy, but a tummy full of vegetables and delicious ingredients. And they're actually learning to expand their taste palates so that if we do go to a restaurant, I don't have to just order chips and nuggets for my kids to keep them happy. They're a lot more open-minded. And because everything is compartmentalized and there's no waste really, it means that when you sit down at the table, there's not this huge amount of, pots and pans and a huge excessive amount of mess. Obviously, there is some mess to be cleaning up. But it means when we sit down at dinner, I'm so much more present. And what we do with my kids when Tom's away is we try and play a card game or we play like a guessing game. And it's just so much more relaxed. Everyone's properly eating their meal. It's not so much of a battle at that, witching hour, which I think a lot of parents will actually relate to. So for me, in sharing this particular, investment with you, it's to remind you that it is okay to invest in convenience. And that can often be a great gift to yourself, your mental health, your sanity, and of course, your family. And for me, this investment of HelloFresh once a fortnight is something I'm incredibly grateful for. Number 4, Tulip, our third dog. Someone said to me at the beginning of 2024, you're going to get another dog. I would not believe them. I would laugh at them. So it was about July this year, we welcomed Tulip into our family. A beautiful white semi-rescue Labrador who came from a breeder who specialises in therapy dogs and guide dogs, and interestingly, dogs for the Kleenex commercials. Now, whilst I didn't actually pay for her, she is undoubtedly been one of the best investments of our time and love. The breeder was going through a bit of a legal dispute and was in a sort of an urgent situation where she needed to rehome 70 Labradors. And a friend of mine who has 2 Labradors already called me and told me all about it. And she drove up, and this breeder is based about half an hour past Maitland. And she got 2 Labradors, and she called me on the way home, so she now has 4 Labradors. And I went and met her and met the new dogs, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're amazing. And I told Tom about this situation, about the breeder and about my friend, Charlotte. And he said to me, Canna, you've got to go and help this woman. This is horrible. This is horrific. These dogs are going to be destroyed unless someone helps her. So I literally didn't think, and probably a good thing because I probably would have talked myself out of this, but I just put the kids in the car and I called ahead, spoke to this lovely, lovely lady. And she said, look, I'm going to put a dog aside that I think could be really good for your family, your children, your situation, and the 2 dogs you've already got. And we got in the car and we drove. Now, if you want to watch this, I guess you could call it a documentary of us driving and getting Tulip, you can watch it on YouTube, and I will link it in the podcast notes. But we drove and we got her, and it was just this bizarre experience where it was just so incredibly beautiful. It was so silent. And I can't imagine life without her. Like, she has this amazing energy about herself, and you can tell that she's been bred as a therapy dog and done training as a therapy dog, because she has brought this sense of calm and complete and absolute joy into our home. She is a reminder of the absolute unconditional love that animals give us, and teaches us about patience and the healing power of connection. And our 2 other dogs, Giuseppe and Peppy, adore her. Actually, Peppy is a bit of a diva. She pretends not to like her, but when I'm not looking, she snuggles with her, she licks her, she wrestles with her, and they've also become partners in crime in finding things of mine to go and chew and destroy, and they've even worked out how to get things off the kitchen bench top when I'm not looking. And Giuseppe, who's 12, he thinks he's a bit of a Hugh Hefner walking around the park because he's got these two young hot Labrador girlfriends either side of him, and he's so protective of both of them, and the three of them like snuggle in together. It's the most divine thing ever. And Peppy gave Giuseppe a new lease on life, and I think Tulip has given him another new lease on life. He keeps up with them, he wrestles with them, and the three of them just are a trio. It's just worked beautifully. It was meant to be. And my children adore her, particularly Apple because she is Apple's dog. And my kids will be having a complete tantrum and meltdown, and Tulip will just walk up to them and sit down and lie there and just snuggle and win with them and put her head in their lap, and it just calms the children down. And even people in the park, she'll just go up and sit with them, and she just knows she's just got this incredible intuition, which has been absolutely amazing. So she really has become a member of our family, and I can't imagine life without her, and it's been a complete and absolute blessing. And a reminder for this, in sharing this with you, is that some investments aren't about money. It's about the energy that we carry, the energy that we share, and the unconditional love and pure care and generosity that we give each other. Number 5, more help for me time. Now, I don't want this to come across as self-indulgent at all, so please don't take this way, but about a year ago, Tom and I made a decision that for my mental health to get a little bit more help at home. As you know, Tom's away a lot. When I say a lot, he's away at least 50% of the time. If he's not in Hong Kong, he's in Melbourne, and he does huge long hours, leaves at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm on my own a lot, and we don't actually have any family to help us whatsoever. So I'm juggling a lot of balls on my own with the kids as well as my own business. So about a year or two ago, we decided to ask our retired neighbour, who used to be a Tresillian nurse, to help out with the kids. And she's in her 80s, and she was looking after the kids every Saturday for 2 hours once a fortnight. And it was working brilliantly. The kids loved her. But what I sort of realised was that just wasn't enough. And this is why I don't want to sound indulgent or self-indulgent or even, selfish as a parent. But what I realised in having that break is how much I actually needed more of a break. So instead of getting her to come once a fortnight, I decided to get her once a week. And it actually worked out better for everybody because the girls now see her more often. She now has a great routine with them, and I get to have a bit more time for me. And when I use that time, I go to the gym. I make that time really count. It's 2 hours. Every second of freedom is important to me. So I go to the gym, I do a workout, I jump in my local ocean pool, which is icebergs. And if I get time, I will jump in the sauna and sweat it out. And it is a complete and utter reset. I come back home a completely different person, a much nicer person. And when Tom is home, we do this together. So we treat it as a date night. We go and have a workout together, we jump in the pool together, we have a coffee together, we have a sauna together, and we get to have unbroken conversations that literally we cannot have when our children are around. It's literally like the moment we need to talk about something important, our kids start screaming, crying, yelling, laughing, or just constantly interrupting, which is obviously normal children's behaviour. But for us, this investment, and it's 2 hours and it's lovely. And she has become a pseudo-grandmother for my children, and it works for everybody. And she bakes for them, she plays books, she reads books with them, she plays board games with them. And in the meantime, I completely recharge myself. I work on my health and my fitness, and I'm so much more present after I've come back from the gym. So for me, this particular investment reminds me of how essential it is to take care of myself if I want to be the best version of myself for my family. So for you, don't forget to invest in some you time, whether it be getting a babysitter for 2 hours, or whether it be taking yourself out to get a blow dry, your nails done, or a massage, or do something just completely soulfully, beautifully for you. As I reflect on these investments with you, I have to say they have taught me a valuable lesson this year. Just as we need to diversify our financial portfolios across different companies, different sectors, different industries, different countries, and of course, different asset classes, it is equally important, if not more important, to also diversify our investments in happiness and well-being. Whilst investing in financial goals is incredibly important, especially if we really want to create a sense of financial harmony and independence in our lives, but at the same time, we should never lose sight of ourselves, our mental health, our personal growth, and of course the connections that bring us deep joy, sustainable joy, and authentic happiness. So as you work on your goals for 2025 and start thinking about all the exciting, wonderful things you'd like to be able to achieve and do and tick off on your list, can I please encourage you to think also at the same time about those non-financial investments that you can make for yourself in a sustainable way to nurture your overall harmony, happiness, and of course, growth and success for 2025. Thank you absolutely everyone for listening to this episode today and joining me. I would love to hear from you and hear what your non-financial investments have been and how they've enriched your life, because what you share with me, and hopefully I can then share it back on another podcast episode, may benefit somebody else, another listener, or plenty of other listeners, including myself. So I'd love to continue keeping this conversation alive about those non-financial investments that help us in our journey through life, that keep us empowered, keep us balanced, and keep us feeling fulfilled. All right. Again, thank you everyone for your support in 2024. It has been an absolute honor to be able to connect with you every single Monday morning. And don't worry, I am not going away at all. I will be continuing over the Christmas New Year break, and I will be here every Monday morning without fail and making sure that 2025 is an even better year for you and I. Thank you everyone for listening. This is Sugar Mama's Fireplace.